Right, we're live now.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? My name is Blessing, and we're going to be taking you through the Habitat Hack interface session. I'm sure some of you attended the one that we had last weekend and we managed to give you some bit of overview. But maybe what we want to do today is to give a bit more information on what we're going to be doing as teams, because we understand we're going to be forming some bit of teams and then doing the actual work on the hack. So to start us off, we're going to have input information regarding the property market, how you're going to be selling the stands, what's going to be involved as you actually do the product selling from John Pocock. And Daryl is going to be doing that introduction. Over to you, Daryl.
All right, thanks, Blessing. All right, everyone, good afternoon. I'm Daryl Friend from John Pocock. We're based in Bulawayo, but we have offices in Bulawayo and Harare. We're one of the larger real estate companies, and we are looking at an opportunity to grow our sales, and hence we've started to talk with yourselves on what we believe is a really big opportunity. What we want to focus on is being able to market and sell properties, particularly stands, to people overseas, to the diaspora, mainly to Zimbabweans overseas, probably. But that's there's definitely an opportunity in that. What we've got is over 1,000, possibly 2,000 stands to sell over the next year. And what we found is that the local market is also struggling to come up with the financing on that. And we believe that the international community will probably find that this sort of sale is not a huge impact on their daily lives. So we need to try and tap into that and get them to buy property here in Zimbabwe. I mentioned Zimbabwe. Whilst our first projects might be in Bulawayo, we've got projects all over the country. And even if we don't have the direct link right now, with the right marketing, we might be able to build up a database to be able to sell our services to any of the big developers, like some of the bigger banks that are doing developments at the moment. So in a nutshell, that's really what we wanted to kickstart this project with, is finding the right team with the right innovation, or multiple teams if possible, to be able to tap into a huge resource outside of Zimbabwe. 2 to 3 million people are living outside of this country. We only need a couple of thousand to reinvest into our country, and not only to benefit companies in and around us and ourselves, but to benefit the country, as an inflow of funds would certainly help. Is there much more, Blessing, at the moment? I'll leave that as the introduction, just if there can be any questions.
Okay, that's all right.
Okay, that's all right. Thank you very much. So basically, that's the introduction from the property developers side. So we're going to move on to the next section, where we're going to tell you now what we're going to be doing with you as hackers. So to with you.
Sure. Thanks, Blessing. So thanks, Daryl, for the introduction. I think this community is actually very exciting in itself, because albeit the fact that a lot of people are saying the market is a bit depressed because of our economic situation, I think, as you're saying, there is a very big opportunity in terms of the diaspora market. I mean, most of the people in Zimbabwe are surviving on this market, right? You go into the bank, there is very long queues because people are getting money from Western Union and MoneyGram and all these things. And those same people, are the people that are going to be interested in investing in getting stands or in getting property, because, as you were saying, I know, Daryl, you allude a bit more onto, some of the services that you're able to provide, apart from just, selling the standards of what John Pocock can do for these people. Because, most of the people in diaspora, the biggest challenge is, on the confidence side of things. And so I think that part might also be very interesting to get our hackers to understand, firstly, how we are inspiring this confidence, how we are assuring the people in the diaspora, and this is part of that value proposition that the hackers should give. And then secondly, some of the services that John Pocock can then give, apart from just um, providing the stand and then processing that payment. So, Daryl. Daryl?
Yes.
Sorry, can you just repeat that?
Sure. Oh, no, so I was talking about how John Pocock can help inspire the confidence and the services that John Pocock can provide apart from just selling his stand. Yeah.
No problem. All right. So Gunda, as you're alluding, the challenges that have been with property developments, and if you are overseas, is whether the money that you're sending over towards the stand. Well, we have a long-standing company, and with very clear processes on how things work, is that it's now somebody that with a company like ourselves, rather than possibly somebody that is operating out of the back of their Range Rover, that there might be the project come to fruition. And as Takunda was saying, what we're looking at, we should probably market, is that we want to go end to end. Yes, at the moment we've got stands. Now you've got a rental income and an asset, and we're hoping that you get a return on investment between 6 and 8%. So what's the rental? They can live in a house, and perhaps that's another angle we need to look at for our friends and family overseas. When we want to try and sell them the idea of having something here, where we are, they are investing into something that has potential. And so yeah, that's definitely an angle that we should be looking at. Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, I think that's. Thank you, Daryl. I think that's something that is very important. I think going forward, so later on this week, we are going to talk about how people can start forming teams around the solutions that they're providing, and then early next week, we're actually going to have a few people from the diaspora on a similar call, talking about their outlook on, getting property, what their concerns are, what, might be of interest to them. On Saturday, we had our first interface session, and there is a part of the Q&A that we recorded. I'll put that link in the description of this video, so you can also go through that to get a better understanding. But as Blessing was saying, so now what we're doing is we're beginning to entertain some of the solutions that we might be able to come up with for these challenges. And it's important that as we're developing these, we understand that this is for the international market, not just your Zimbabwean people who are based here in Zimbabwe. So the restrictions that we have in terms of the technology, the innovation and things like that, we don't have that same restriction in this particular case, because people in the US do have the internet access. So we need to come up with solutions that are alluding and involving some of these things. So, GPS, using live feed, using all these many different things. And so I think that's one of the other things that we need to definitely take into account. Yeah. So, thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
And one thing that I noticed in the last meeting was, look, there's a belief from a couple of the hackers that there's still a pocket of Zimbabweans that we haven't marketed well enough to. So again, the hackers can market locally. We're not averse to that, because maybe we've not touched all the bases locally, and maybe we should also just consider that. So we're not going to discount anyone that's able to find sellers locally. Just as we refine everything, must make sure that we're clear on referrals, and so whether or not a system is designed around that. But I don't want any grey area discussing who was their client. We need a very clear way that it's passed on.
Definitely, I think that's an interesting outlook that came out of the last meeting, and also going forward during this week. So we're going to talk about there are a lot of sensitive issues around the usage of the John Pocock brand, the limitations to that. So we're going to generate just a bit of wording that people are going to use on their sites to make sure that when you start interfacing with people in the public, they understand that these are things that are being sold by John Pocock, and what these teams are simply doing are facilitating and helping to market and get people to understand that, as well as how to hand off the information. So ideally, what a team is supposed to be able to do is whatever solution that you create and however you've decided to meet your particular target market, it's not the team's responsibility to then convert the sale. So what each team is then supposed to be able to do is to then get in touch with the sales team at John Pocock to say, so these are the people that we've gotten in touch with. These people are particularly interested in this particular stand or on A, B, C, D, E, and then the sales team will then carry out that transaction and process the sale. So the teams don't, as the hackers, you don't have to worry about handling the money or anything like that. All the money has to go directly to John Pocock. All that we will be able to, and we should be able to do, is to make sure that we do that as efficiently as possible, and then be able to check and converse with the sales team to make sure that we know which potential customers or clients have actually converted into a sale. Naturally, at the end of the hack, there is going to be a finale where we are going to then decide which team or teams have built the most sustainable and scalable solution. And that assessment is going to be primarily based on the number of signups that each team is going to be able to get. So that's the metric that we're going to be tracking. We're then also going to add onto that the number of signups that actually convert into sales, as well as the third bit is an innovation sort of scale, so from 1 to 10, which Daryl will award to each team, depending on how he views that innovation or that solution. And so there's going to be about $1,000 at the very end that the winning team is going to get. But then over and above that, each and every single team will get the opportunity to make money for each sign up that converts into a sale. That's about 187, close to $200 per stand that is actually sold. And so in total, for this particular hack that's ending on the 1st of October, we have, I think, about $112,500 that's available. That's the opportunity that is there for the hackers. So it's entirely up to you guys. It depends on the amount of effort that you put into it, the type of solution that you build. The more the stands you sell, the more the money you're actually going to be able to make. So yeah, that's from my end. I'll hand over to Blessing, who's going to say, I think, a couple of things before we end this.
All right, thank you very much, Takunda. So basically, we've heard what we need. This is now the stage where we actually start implementing. We've been already brainstorming and coming up with all these ideas of how we're going to be implementing. But hey guys, here's the thing. This is a very interesting hack. You've had the figures, you've had the opportunities that are there. What you now need to start thinking about is going out there and looking at the type of market. We're not talking about the everyday or local client that is in Zimbabwe. We're talking about people in South Africa, New Zealand, in the United States, in the UK. So go all out. Do not limit your ideas. One of the things we're going to help you do is to, during the capacitation, we're going to try and give you much resources that will help you also to work within your teams and also to give you all better ideas on how to actually output your product or your service to the client that you're going to be reaching out to. So yeah, that will be part of my job, as well as the organizing team, to make sure that you guys are fully capacitated and equipped to take this on. So between now and next week, that's when we're going to be having the teams set up. We expect that by now you've thought about probably we want to work with, or if you haven't met, make some time to organize some local meetups amongst yourselves and start thinking about, okay, which teams you want to form and who do you want to work with. But remember, we should have at least one developer, one designer, and one entrepreneur within each of these groups to form balanced groups that will be able to give enough technical capacity and support to be able to take on this task. Otherwise, that being said, We hope you've understood the information that has been given out. If not, please feel free to either give your comments in the section or communicate with us through the WhatsApp groups or the platforms that we've created for communication. Otherwise, thank you very much. Till next time. Bye.
All right, thanks, Daryl.